Hey guys, it's Matthew here once again, and just recently the launch of the Delirium event happened during the New Year's festivities for a lot of us. I personally streamed all night throughout my New Year's and got pretty drunk off a bottle of champagne, and went into it knowing that I wasn't going to like it, basically. When the events got announced, I was fairly convinced the Delirium Everywhere event would just be shit, because it's just nothing but grey, bland delirium everywhere, and I'm already kind of sick of it in the main game. And it was just going to be the regular campaign with a whole bunch of delirium non-stop. And it didn't disappoint, to be honest. Certainly far from my favorite of these events that has come out in the past month. Gave it a shot anyway. I was pretty drunk, so I died many times. I was doing solo self-found hardcore, and hoo boy, it feels like not too much thought was put into how some of these are happening. The deliriums and the delirium percents. So what's delirium everywhere? It's basically like maps, delirium maps. Every zone is permanent delirium, and it'll have a random delirium percent from 1 to 100. If it's got like a percent of 80 to 90, that means things are taking extremely reduced amounts of damage, and if it's got something like 95%, you could pretend it's got like 2,500% HP life. And it makes killing things extremely hard, and they are faster and they hit harder or some shit like that. Basically, it's terrible, and you don't want to engage in any of the 90% pluses, which randomly just happen until your character is far more established. And in this case, they happen to just randomly put, for a few of them, a few of the zones randomly got 84%, 85%, 94%, I think. Brutus himself was at like an 80-something percent, which wasn't too bad, to be honest. But the ledge was pretty damn hard to get through. The main strat was to just run through it, because doing what I'm doing is definitely the wrong move. Actually trying to attack this stuff. There were a couple of zones that were like straight up 95 to 100%, and you just cannot do anything about it. You should just run through. It kind of almost feels to me like a preamble to hard mode, what the hard mode Chris is talking about, which is just straight up punishment and suffering. So who knows? I was trying to make a few, not too hipster, but still not completely meta build choices to begin with, and I was getting punished for it pretty hard. That said, I think a lot of the reason I was dying is mostly the bottle of champagne for the New Year's, so by all means, happy 2020 everyone. But I eventually got through it after like 9 characters, and then picked up to go with Poisonous Concoction and just on a Trickster. So I think this would be one more death here. Basically just a whole bunch of delirium shit everywhere, and I get frozen because there's a lot of extra attacks, there's a lot of extra mobs, and it's just super unfriendly on the low end. Once you break through like level 15 or so and your build starts to come together, that's actually when delirium becomes far less impactful to your overall gameplay, and it's just up to whether or not the zone has like a 90% delirium on it, which means it's damn near impossible to fight anything. But beyond that, if your build's coming together, delirium starts to just kind of be a bit of an afterthought. The rewards aren't great, so they probably should have done something about the rewards to have more than just one little extra box every delirium for no freaking reason. Like if it's an 80% map, it should have a few extra boxes, so you're getting more rewarded. But either way, there is still a slightly enhanced amount of loot thanks to these boxes, just a little bit more. And on top of that, this Poisonous Concoction was going really well. So it's the first time I've ever tried Poisonous Concoction. I put out a starter video for it, or starter build for it when it was first announced, because it looked like it was going to be better than any other poison skill at the time. And I'm pretty sure that has come to fruition. A lot of people started the league with it, and a lot of people have played it throughout leagues and all kinds of events and shit, and it's the first time I'm experiencing it, and it truly is pretty damn good. So even on this Delirium event where things are far tankier, and I'm playing SSF HC, so I have to build myself to be a lot thicker and just unfortunately get less damage nodes early on. Just having a 4-link has been more than adequate to destroy just about every boss that I've come up to Act 10 now. Haven't quite finished the campaign mode because, you know, slow and steady. But this is one of the supposedly hardest bosses on the way through the campaign, because I think it's Tukohama with like 97%. And it's rough, but Poison Concoction, honestly, pretty damn sick in what it can do as a starter skill. It scales very well off of itself. You don't need a weapon. It's kind of like a spell, basically, because you just get a bunch of damage every gem level, and then also some inherent scaling from your flasks. So all you need to do is keep upgrading your life flask and rolling them to the best of their ability, and then you've basically capped out your damage as alongside just taking some passives on the tree and using some links. The ability does like kind of overlap what you'd previously call shotgunning, so the main strategy seems to be to just get as many proj as possible, and in this case you can see that I'm using GMP and greater volley, so that's just 8 additional proj. We hit pretty weak, but it doesn't really matter, especially on the large bosses, because you get all of that overlap and all your poison going, and it's pretty disgusting. And on top of that, Plague Bearer, as always, as we know, is pretty filthy with the new mastery for another 20% effectiveness. So far so good. Poisonous Conch, extremely powerful. I'll just show you real quick how my character's built thus far. So, not even worth turning the camera on for, it's going to be super quick. Since we're only level 68, about to finish the campaign, which hopefully we get through, but you know, who knows. We are building around Poison's Concoction. It's currently on a 4-link of Greater Volley and Greater Multiple Proj, and then Cruelty. All you need to do is try and get your poison chance to about 100% pretty early on, and then start scaling projectiles, and just taking the very obvious poison and chaos nodes on the right hand side of the tree, and it builds itself. It's a trickster this time around, because I really want to play a trickster for this type of thing. Since it's a bit less played, but most commonly these builds are played as an occultist or a pathfinder, and they're probably built very, very similar. I'm pretty sure the pathfinder tree is going to look roughly something like this, and then you can build your defenses as you want with various, you know, spell suppressors or evasions, dodge, whatever the hell you feel necessary. My ascendancies here so far are these, and then these for a bit of damage. My last two will probably be the frenzies and then the movement, because attack speed does kind of get you faster attacks in this and then more damage, and as well as that, it is an attack, so you do need to worry about accuracy. That's why I'm using precision over here. Otherwise, just very basic gear, bit of life and res everywhere you can. Try and get some attack speed, some accuracy, and currently using dash, Herald of Agony, Plague Bearer. I do have the mastery for that, because that does start to get pretty damn good, but all of the poison masteries are super potent, so it's kind of tough to choose between them. But the first one I grabbed was the 300% on non-poison, deal 300% extra damage, because that starts scaling your poison pretty quickly. Otherwise, all of that shit, and you take the claw nodes over here just because a little bit of poison juiciness, but mostly enemies poisoned cannot deal crits. Otherwise, faster attacks, shield charge, vitality, stone golem. Got a wither totem set up over here, and just picked up a blight for Vile Blight. I'm using that sometimes. So yeah, not too much of a guide, just a quick slap together, but try Poison's Concoction off of just about any one of those sort of chaos ascendancies, and it should farm quickly and easily, even in this Delirium event. Up till level 12 I was using Caustic Arrow, by the way. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.